I'd like to introduce to you our first guest. He's known as Mr. Alice Cooper's executioner. Let's give a nice round of applause for the fantabulous magician known as Mr. James Randi. And before we introduce our next guest, I've been given permission. I've been given the greatest permission to read an excerpt from the upcoming book, A Magician in the Laboratory, as written by Mr. James.
That's laboratory, not lavatory, in case you're wondering.
Laboratory, how's that?
Very good.
All right. This is from his words. Years ago, I toured the USA and several foreign markets as part of the Alice Cooper rock show, the $1 Billion Babies episode. My job was to chop Coop's head off with a guillotine every single night, hopefully without actually doing him any harm. It worked for more than 3 months, and during that period of time, I had the nightly opportunity of seeing a rather unique phenomenon. Coop and I were always the last to leave the dressing room to begin the show because I had to equip him with 2 handheld mechanisms that enabled him to throw long flames from his fingertips. These were semi-dangerous. Who ever heard of semi-dangerous? Semi-dangerous? These were semi-dangerous devices which he'd only take into his hands at the very last moment. When the stage manager would poke his head in the door and announce 2 minutes, I would watch Vincent Funier.
Well, close enough.
Yeah, him too. Coop's original name rapidly and almost magically changed from a reasonably normal young man into the showbiz monster that his audience expected him to be. He adopted the character by simply putting it on like a pullover. His walk, his facial expression, his entire demeanor changed. And a moment later, as he would totter up the stairs, Frankenstein monster-like, into the spotlight, Vincent would become Alice Cooper. 2 hours later, when he retired from the stage, dressed in white satin tails and top hat, he again became Vincent as soon as he hit the lights of the dressing room. I always admired that in him, his ability to step into fantasy and then shed it so easily. It's a talent we might all try to acquire. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alice Cooper!
Fournier. Vincent Damon Fournier. And by the way, Randy actually looked like this in 1976. And I have pictures of him as a baby. He looked just like this. It's amazing.
My apologies for bastardizing your last name.
No,
I
it's
never
okay.
studied French. But it's a wonderful name nonetheless. Folks, as you know, like I said once before, this is our $1 Billion Babies Tour 1973. So this discussion is going to mainly focus on that. I'm sure many of you may have a few questions, but we're going to listen to these gentlemen chat. And I have, I guess, the start of this question. Mr. Cooper, how in fact did you find this man?
So, unexpected of me, I suppose, not to record the whole thing, but I've got to say that the whole thing is up on the James Randi YouTube site, so I am not going to try and capture the whole 50-minute show and put it up as something I made. I do believe showing you the introduction, giving you the teaser for it, and hopefully guiding you to go and watch that 50-minute show on the James Randi Foundation. But we'll encourage people to go and view on the place where it's uploaded on YouTube. The reason I chose to capture that, at the start to that show, and then upload it on my channel is basically because I love Alice Cooper. I think he's one of my most favourite rock musicians of the 70s, and I do remember with very, very fond memories the $1 Billion Babies album. I think it's around 74, 75, around about that time. I might be a year or so out, but I think it's 74, 75. I'm not absolutely sure. It could be 73, 74. But that's why I have the $1 Billion Babies dollar sign. And at that time, I must have been 13, 14. I'd have been 13, 14 old, 1974, 75. So yeah, 74, 75. I was very, very, very drunk. I would have been 74. I'd have to have been 13, 14 years old. 13, 14 years old, drinking wine, taking mandrakes, and occasionally eating mushrooms and dropping LSD. You might find that shocking for a 13, 14-year-old person. You know, wasn't Alice Cooper, you know. But that was the de rigueur at the time for people of my ilk who were, you know, basically getting fucked up, you know. So yeah, at that time I was doing that shit, you know. And I also have unfortunately tattooed on my left arm another half finished, well, not even half finished, it's barely started, but it says, if I can put it up, it says public, and then there's an A, just this, that's an A, and if you notice public, it's terrible, you know, there's a dot above the L and a dot above the I. Terrible. You can probably decide for yourself how much influence the wine and mandrakes and perhaps LSD had on me at the time when I was trying to do those tattoos by hand with a matchstick, dipping it in ink, applying it to my skin, and then punching it into the skin with a knitting needle. You can probably yourself, you know, get some sense of how stupid a 13-year-old I was when I was fucked up on wine, mandrakes and LSD and other drugs. I was an experimenter when I was younger, and so I'm just going to make sure that bed is against it. But yeah, you can probably guess that I was an experimental young man when it comes to pharmaceuticals. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't the sort of person who just ran off and took anything. I mean, I wasn't a meth head, you know what I mean? And by the way, people think meth is a new drug. Oh, it's not. Methadone has been around for a long, long time. It's just that the methadone you get now in America is produced in a different pharmaceutical way from how we used to get it when I was a kid. We used to get it by robbing chemists. Now people get it from making it themselves in their bathroom. I'm sorry to say that methadone, methamphetamine, was much purer in the 70s when I was taking it. I was taking methamphetamine, and most of it was stolen from pharmaceutical premises. It wasn't made in somebody's back room, you know. So look at the way that, people in 3 months of using methadone or methamphetamine, I look at how they look and I think, shit, I used that for 6-8 months at a time, you know what I mean? And I didn't turn into a wasted, wastrel, fucked out, like you see on. So I can think that it's probably the impurities in the drugs that people are taking today, which is the downside of drugs. But anyway, I didn't come here to talk about drugs. I came here to talk about these two beautiful people, Alice Cooper and the guy who presented him on stage. I'm only joking. So anyway, I hope that you go to the James Randi organisation's website and watch the James Randi Alice Cooper interview, chat, conference type thing, and keep in mind that James Randi is a skeptic. Alice Cooper is a drug crazed rock and roller with a priest or a pastor father, pastor father, you know what I mean? And well, I don't know really about the guy who introduced him was a crazy motherfucker. That's all I can say. He's probably on drugs, probably better drugs than what I was getting when I was 13, but you can tell, these days, you know what I mean? You could be buying them on the internet, But anyway, so I suggest you go and watch the James Randi Alice Cooper interview. I will put the link in the underbar. I think it's a worthy and well used 50 minutes. But if it isn't, get back to me, you know what I mean? Well, maybe I can give you a discount on some methadone. Back in 1977. 74 or 75, you know what I mean? I don't know, Maybe pulling your leg. But yeah, I do believe that the only reason I've lived so long is the drugs I've taken were of the best quality, and I wouldn't buy anything from someone who made it up in the bathroom. It's fun to keep that, motherfuckers.